Disclaimer, please don't take this video too seriously. I wish I didn't have to say this, but I do feel that the Magic community can embarrass itself now and again. Since the dawn of time, there has been a question. The age-old question. The one that has made Facebook philosophers and disapproving parental figures scratch their heads for all of time. It is the central conceit of one of the largest hobby-based secondary markets in the world. Companies are founded upon it. Dreams are made and hopes are dashed. Why are some of the Magic the Gathering trading cards worth more money than other Magic the Gathering trading cards? Hi, I'm Vince, also known as PleasantKenobi on the internet. I'm the Magic the Gathering content creator equivalent of one of those Ristic Studies videos that you show your normie non-Magic playing friends. But not because it was profound or insightful or informative, but because I said the funny thing about ingesting cum. Magic the Gathering, the oldest card game known to man, older than both poker and backgammon, and there's no actual way of fact-checking that statement. We just don't have the technology. Developed and birthed from the canals of Richard Garfield himself, it was originally intended to be played in the downtime between games of Dungeons and Dragons at conventions and similar. But really, Garfield was playing the long con. Being a clairvoyant wizard sent back in time, the actual intended design of Magic the Gathering was always to be a handheld mobile game to be played alone, in solitude, whilst perched upon a porcelain throne, squeezing out a watery slosh of dysentery invoked by the piss-poor food hall sustenance found at your average American convention centre. Happy on the toilet, happy in life, that is the American way. Fast forward several decades and Magic has vastly outgrown its origins. What was once a game of wizards duking it out with powerful spells and even more powerful creatures because Wizards of the Coast love green, am I right lads? But Magic has become a lot more. No one plays it anymore, it's now just a cultural behemoth. There's going to be a Netflix TV show. This game, if you call it that, is so important that Hunter Pence wears a card encased in plastic around his neck to show off his affluent nerd credibility, and South Park even made an episode on it.
This is the Black Lotus. This is the Alpha Black Lotus. This is the most famous Magic the Gathering card in the world.
Originally a game, Magic is more than that now. It's a lifetime hobby for some, and a stock portfolio for others. Many angry gamers get a kick out of never actually playing the game, but instead proclaiming Legacy is dead, or that they're quitting Magic forever because of the latest mechanic in the latest set. I mean, who wants to roll dice, am I right? These lifetime hobbyists who simply collect and complain are colloquially known amongst the community by the incredibly apt and in-universe canonical term, shit bastards. Beyond that, the other potentially larger facet of this nerd empire is the collector, or the would-be Wolf of Wall Street. Many will complain that packs are too expensive, and that formats are too inaccessible, but also expect to be able to sell the contents of every booster they open for profit. They live in a tumultuous space of Schrodinger's value. They want every rare within a pack to be simultaneously worth $10 and no dollars until opened, until observed, all relative to whether or not they opened it and they can sell it. These people congregate around paid-for-entry Facebook groups of grifters, talk about bull markets and other terms that sound like voice lines from corporate mundo.
Assets everywhere! Acquire! Acquire!
So with people cracking packs to turn a dime at their local game store, or sitting on sealed product in order to top the bear, whatever that means, it all begs the question, why are Magic cards worth money? And why are some cards worth more money than other cards? And naturally, that pushes us on to further investigation. Why are some cards worth less? Hell, some cards are worth more than other cards that are worth less than some other cards that are worth more than other cards. It is this that I want to invest completely seriously and not at all in a video that's just one fucking big shitpost. But before we do that, I too need to earn that bread to invest in unopened boxes of Battle Bond. So take this ad integration and put it wherever you want. Gobble it up. Put it inside your pie hole, you dirty, dirty girl. NordVPN! Take control of your internet experience today with NordVPN, who reached out to sponsor the content that I make for reasons that I don't quite understand, because I make a load of shit. You wouldn't go out and play your cards unsleeved or not sleeve and fold up your current investment portfolio for all those Crocs thumbs that you bought out from your local store. So why would you do that with your internet security? NordVPN masks your IP to keep your browsing to yourself, and they exercise a strict no logs policy, meaning they fully flush the toilet after doing number 2, but also don't track, collect, or share your data. And this extends up to 6 devices including mobile, so when you're out there on the trading floor of your next Magic Fest, please, God, bring back Magic Fests. I miss them so much. I need them. But next time you're sharking a 14-year-old on a trade at F&M, you too can protect your mobile device with NordVPN. So why not try out NordVPN at nordvpn.com/Kenobi and use the code Kenobi to get a 30-day risk-free period and grab control of your internet, much like you grab hold of a bull market and top it like a boss. There is a link in the description below, and thank you to NordVPN for sponsoring this video. Magic decks traditionally are made up of around 75 cards. At least that was before Commander killed Magic. Between 75 and 100 cards for a constructed deck, looking at how these cards are procured goes a long way towards understanding why some Magic the Gathering TM cards are worth more money than other Magic the Gathering the longest lasting trading card game cards TM. There are 3 ways you can get your cards. Firstly, to open them from packs of Magic the Gathering cards. This is referred to by some as packing a card, which is a term that both confuses me and makes my skin crawl. I don't know why, it just makes me cringe. Like, if you're packing something, you're putting something in, not taking it out. Packing, oh god, it makes me dry heave, is done by opening booster packs of Magic the Gathering cards, which typically cost around $4, except for set boosters, collector boosters, VIP boosters, master sets, horizon sets, and most supplemental sets at this point too. Actually, saying a pack costs about $4 is actually usually a lie. Those are the cheapest ones. But if you got them as a birthday or Christmas present for your little nephew Timmy, well, he would think you were a cheap cunt. And that's the problem, you see. Kids are too obsessed with expensive packs and foils and border treatments and rolling dice. Magic isn't the same as it used to be. It's not the same as it used to be when I was young. That's the problem. Back in my day, it wasn't about shiny cards or identity politics and virtue signalling. Kids are asking for too much with inclusivity and celebrations of diversity. This is why I voted out of the EU. The next way to get your grubby little mitts on Magic the Gathering cards TM trading card game cards is to buy them. For this, you'll need what is called money. More on this in a moment. The final way is through ritual sacrifice or demonic ritual. Now technically, these are 2 different things, but they both involve giving yourself to the divine chaos of the other world, so I'm just gonna not split hairs here and combine them for the sake of brevity.
And so, well, see, here you go. Upon entering the park, I mean, you can see they've already got started.
Now, you may not have heard of this method before, because Wizards of the Coast have distanced itself from them, because, well, the Satanic Panic was a thing. But the real reason for the lack of summoning Magic cards through ritual sacrifice of virgins these days is because, well, virgins aren't found at your local game store as much as they used to be. And that's where all the rituals took place, right out in the open, like on the counter of your local game store. This is for 2 reasons. The evolution of the male gamer into the alpha Chad, as exemplified by the super stud and not at all insecure pro gamer Mr. Ninja. And secondly, most of the virgins used in these sacrifices are in their basements now, complaining about visible cleavage on Twitch, and getting further radicalized by the algorithms of family-friendly websites like YouTube and Facebook. Fuck you, Zuckerberg.
The reason why this pentacle would not be considered satanic is because it has 1 point up. Now, Satanists would reverse this star, or pentacle as it's called, and have 2 points up. Those represent the horns of
Zuckerberg.
So I said I'd come back to that money thing, right? So let's address the elephant in the room. Money is a medium in which we can exchange resources, usually in the form of coins and banknotes. In the United Kingdom, it used to be tied to the value of the gold reserves, with money showing how much gold you have to claim with that money. Now that isn't the case anymore. One of our prime ministers, Gordon Brown, texture-like son, sold all of our gold, you see. And this upset a lot of old farts who hate poor people. You see, the Conservatives wouldn't shut the fuck up about this in my teen years. We don't hear much about the selling of the gold now though, as Tories realise that harping on about people like Corbyn being a terrorist, or worse, a fucking communist, upsets men in their white vans far more and is more likely to get you elected. And now we're fucked. A decade of good old Tory austerity, an unelected carousel of incompetent ghouls whose only concern is nepotism and awarding money to their friends with government contracts like things with track and trace. But anyway, that's a little bit of a digression. Money. Now, the thing is that you need to understand about money is that it's often referred to as the root of all evil. And that's just not true, no matter how much the tankies on Twitter tell you. How could Jeff Bezos fire himself into space without the use of money? Elon Musk, instead of feeding the starving or providing an influential and rich backer to support the push towards income equality or the rights of workers nationwide, is instead providing hope. Hope by going into space so we can have a big old zero-G wank. Checkmate, socialists. Honestly, I actually can't put my finger on why people think billionaires might not care about the rights of their workforce. I just can't figure it out. Also, on a completely unrelated note, Jeff Bezos looks like Lex Luthor here. What the fuck is up with that? So money isn't tied to a gold standard. So why does it have value? Why does some money have higher value than other money? Going back to our original question for this video, well honestly, who the fuck knows at this point? Much like MTG Finance, people will tell you they know, but honestly they do not. They know about as much as the rest of us. Money is a made-up drug. You know when banks provide loans? I used to believe that they funded those loans through the capital available to them through savers, right? People with more money than they immediately need would deposit their money into the bank to save. You would then, I don't know, provide the loan at 5% to the person borrowing the money, give 1% back to the saver, and the bank would pocket the 4%. But that's not actually how it works. Okay, so maybe they borrow the money from a world bank or a central bank at like 3%, charge 5% and net the profits. No, that's what cockroaches and landlords do, historically, but not the banks. They just make the money up on the spot. Don't believe me? Here's a clip.
Now, at this point, money has been created. This money didn't exist this morning when I got up and decided to buy the watch and take out a loan. That's new money, fresh money. That's how banks create money. Banks bring new money into the economy as they make up loans.
That's it. Money is created by commercial banks. It's not commonly talked about. It's very strange and kind of fucked up. So we come back to the original question. What is money? Well, it's a load of fucking zeros on a computer somewhere, innit? Like, other people have more than you, and it's best you don't think about it too much, or it gets pretty fucking depressing. Too few people have too much of it, and under our current system, that is never going to change. Hell, it will probably get worse. But look, the best way to numb the feeling of pain is to consume. It's to consume. Magic cards are worth more than other magic cards. So why is Gaia's Cradle worth more than this forest? Well, that's an easy one. It's because irresponsible internet Z-list celebrities like PleasantKenobi sometimes tweet about it and they spike it. And well, that's unfortunate, but that's just nature. That's just the natural order of things. Some cards are more playable than others. They see more tournament play, but that doesn't really explain why they're more expensive, right? Jund hasn't been playable in Modern for about 5 years, and it's still a collection of stupidly expensive cards. Price memory, I hear some of you shout from the back of this packed virtual auditorium. Ah yes, we should talk about the price memory phenomenon. Tarmogoyf was once one of, if not the most expensive card in Modern, almost $200 each at their peak. Back then, Jund was the big dog on campus. Is that even a term? Anyway, because it could beat up Twin, the format was overall quite a bit slower, and Twin folded to Jund because it was the deck that could play the most abrupt decays and 1-for-1 removal. Goyf was a good threat that even Twin ended up adopting, as people started to play Rug Twin towards the end of its lifetime, where people would just beat you up with Goyf, you'd stabilise, and then bam, get twinned. I once lost a PPTQ quarterfinal to a Scapeshift player who sideboarded into 4 Tarmogoyfs, and my Thalias and my Leonin Arbiters just didn't do much against those bastard Lurgoyf. Because of this long history of being playable once upon a time, but not anymore, a Tarmogoyf has what's called price memory. This is a mutant power where when you make physical contact with a Tarmogoyf card that you own, you get a huge pang of regret, as you remember just how expensive they were when you bought them and how far they've fallen. This power was brought on in every Goyf across the land, the collective trauma of both Jund players slowly realizing that Magic isn't actually pay to win, and Tarmogoyfs being like, wow, fuck, guess I'm just folder fodder now. But back to this idea that competitive viability is what makes a card worth money. I don't know if this is the case anymore. As Standard moves to Arena, a digital platform, and Wizards literally yeet organised play into the trash, are tournament stables going to be much of a thing anymore? Let's hope third parties keep other formats and competitive Magic alive where Wizards don't want to, so that fetch lands can keep their price and Wizards can reprint them as chase cards in overpriced premium priced product every 3 years or so, and then look at us expectantly as a community assuming we will congratulate them for doing literally the bare fucking minimum. We can't monetize older formats, they say, as people frantically buy $8 boosters or $10 boosters searching for fetch lands, but they won't put into Standard. In the scribbled words of that one Polaroid picture in Memento, don't believe his lies. The next reason for cards being expensive is just how rare they are. Birds of Paradise from Alpha is expensive because there isn't many of them in existence. It's a collector's item because people want to collect old cards because they're nostalgic or some shit, I don't fucking know. But the same card printed elsewhere is a fraction of the price because there's an abundance of later printings in existence. Of course, the rarity thing isn't always a factor. Good white cards for Commander are pretty fucking rare, and Smothering Tithe isn't that fucking holy mother of God. What the when did this reach 30 plus bucks? What the fuck is going on? The last reason for cards carrying price tags higher than other cards is their relative ease of being reprinted. If a card like Fatal Push arrives with a mechanic we aren't likely to see reprinted in another set, especially a low priced normal set and not a premium price set, because, I don't know, in this case reminding the proletariat that they are able to revolt if they want to is a problem for the rich, then it means the card will only be able to see print in supplemental sets that cost too much money, and thus the supply will never truly meet the demand for Revolution. The famous example of this is, well, it's the reserve list, isn't it? But what is the reserve list? Well, my friends, cast your minds back to 1996 whilst you were having your first sexual awakening whilst watching the X-Files late at night with the volume down low in your room. Wizards was carefully laying out their plans for future reprints. You see, they had reprinted a load of shit that crashed prices because when things are more readily available, there is, well, more supply to meet the aforementioned previous demand for Revolution or for cards. This upset people, so in issue 10 of Duelists magazine, Wizards laid out the reserve list, a load of cards they promised to never reprint in order to give collectors some faith in the gold standard of the game, I guess. It's kind of a throwback to what I was talking about earlier. Maybe my rambling has a point, I don't fucking know. Fast forward to the future, hoverboards, jetpacks, flying cars, Elon Musk wanking himself into oblivion in space. The reserve list is still in place right now in the year of our Lord 2021. Much like Brexit means Brexit, the reserve list means reserve list. They will not budge on it. You might think that, I don't know, the promise they made in a magazine on a Thursday evening one time in 1996 might not actually hold much weight. But apparently if they break it, they will get sued into oblivion. That's right, if they break this promise from a magazine printed in 1996, this $1 billion or near $1 billion segment of Hasbro, which is billions of dollars in revenue and profit, they will go under. They will be destroyed in the court of public opinion, even though everyone wants it to go. For that reason, we will never have affordable Underground Seas or Dwarven Armourers. A Dwarven Armourer is currently $5. Should we all make a run on this? Is this a bull bear market that we can top? Why does it have a headband like a ninja? Is that a lion in the armor? Why does it make two opposite types of counters, for fuck's sake? What is this shit? So there, that's the reasons that some cards cost more than other cards. It's because they don't reprint things enough and some shit can't be reprinted because they made a pinky promise in a magazine once. Is that not a sufficient enough answer for you? Probably not. But I didn't come into this video very seriously and I'm not going to leave it very seriously either. I wrote 3,000 fucking words for this thing. If this hasn't provided you at least a mild amount of entertainment, then fuck billionaires, fuck the reserve list. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you all soon. Ta-ta for now.